Power Rangers Dino Fury episode 12 has dropped in English, and I've got to admit, I didn't think this was coming out. I completely forgot it was coming out in Canada. Now, I will say this, there will be spoilers in this, so if you don't want to kind of watch this video, you want to kind of watch it when it comes out on Netflix, that's absolutely fine. You go do that. But if you want to know, hell, let's stay and let's kind of talk together. I made notes for this, so let's just jump into it. Now, I kind of like this entire episode because it's more of an in-depth with Amelia. You know, you're finding out about her past a tiny little bit, you're kind of seeing a little bit about Pop Pop, but you're kind of finding out information about what Area 62 is like, and they kind of tease this, but it doesn't kind of make me think that they haven't done it. So we hear that Pop Pop had he teased, should we say, that he saw portals to other dimensions or alternate dimensions, visitors from the future and aliens, but then kind of turns it back and goes, nah, actually, no, I didn't. I cleaned. I was a janitor. But the one thing that kind of made me start thinking about this is that janitors do see things. They see things that not many people are meant to see. So I imagine that Area 62 did actually kind of go, hey, guess what? You know, we're going to bring in aliens. We're going to bring in like other dimensions, and we're going to see portals, and we're going to see people from the future. So I kind of like, when I started thinking about this, thought that maybe Pop Pop is letting on more than he knows. And I will say this in case I forget, that when Amelia keeps referencing stuff like, oh, he doesn't want to talk to it because he doesn't want to talk about his time there because, you know, he just doesn't like it. I kind of imagine the theory that I brought up a while ago, which was that the machine that Cypher used to implant memories and stuff may have been used on Pop Pop and said, like, these are the bad memories, so he doesn't want to recall, he doesn't want to talk about it, but still the fact is that he knows that Amelia is his granddaughter and stuff like that, so therefore he has to kind of look out for her, and that's all implanted with the memory device. Now, moving into Buzz Blast, what I found was that I really like Jane on this one, as Amelia is saying, like, oh hey, like maybe we should do this story because Bigfoot is about, and when I kind of saw Jane go, no, we want to run with this story, it's much more interesting, and even though Amelia doesn't like it, I feel like seeing Jane being a boss here and actually saying, no, I have said I want this happening, that's what we're going to it, and Amelia kind of going against Jane, I kind of see it, but again, it kind of falls under consequences, that nothing ever happens without consequences in Power Rangers, and it's do what you want. Just do what you want, you're absolutely fine. So when I kind of see this sort of thing, it kind of gets me a little bit because I want to see consequences happen. I want to see Jane actually turn around and call Amelia in and go, hey, I told you to run with this story, but you went with something else, and you put the people who I work with in danger, rather than just or not even mentioned at all. And I feel like this needs to be a big kind of thing that happens within Power Rangers. Now, when they start talking about Bigfoot and stuff, it kind of reminds me of the episode with Steel where he takes the Rangers into the forest. Now, I feel like they're going after Scruzzle, and that's what they mentioned, but part of me thinks, did they actually talk about Bigfoot and how they saw an image in the woods, and therefore it's the same sort of thing? So it kind of gave me energy to look back at kind of Beast Morphers and think back to that, which I generally thought was a nice kind of touch, because this was the same sort of thing that they went with. And I want to know if anyone remembers, was it actually Scruzzle they were going after, or was it Bigfoot that Steel wanted to know? Stan and Annie, who are the people that are working with Amelia, decide to go through Amelia's old notes. And I really like that you saw a piece of paper from like old time adverts, like the stuff like, if you get x-ray glasses, you can see through walls, or get this flower that will make anyone turn around and sniff it and water in the face. And I kind of really like that they've picked this sort of stuff up. And there's quite a lot in here in all the information that they have. And again, I kind of really remembered Dino Thunder when Tommy's going through all the stuff with the past Rangers, past teams and stuff. So I kind of like the fact that Amelia's been keeping all this information, saying, yeah, there's Bigfoot out here, it's Bigfoot this way, you know, all these paranormal activities that she's been keeping a record for such a long time. And it just works really, really well. Now, this is one thing that I'm hoping people are going to pick up on. But when we see the cameo with Commander Shaw, she's talking about the Beast Morpher Rangers fighting all the villains that have escaped from prison, because obviously Lord Zed's kind of walked in and released a load of people. But when Commander Shaw says, like, you know, many have escaped, it kind of made me think, are we going to see these aliens or these bad guys turn up in future episode of Power Rangers, or at least in Dino Fury for a bit and say, like, oh, I escaped from Grid Battle Force? I really, really do want to see this. I would love it if they kept referencing it rather than like, oh, you're a Sporex beast. Or I would love it in like much later on seasons where it's like, yeah, I escaped from Grid Battle Force when Lord Zed came in. And it's a way to kind of keep things going for like many, many years. I am really down for that because I feel like that is one thing I would love to see. Lothorn is the main kind of bad guy for this entire episode. And I do wish, and I think I read in the synopsis that he does escape later on when he's destroyed, like he shrinks down or something like that. But for now, the main thing is, I feel like this is such a big bad guy that he shouldn't be just defeated in one go. And mainly due to this is he's linked to Lokar, who is from Mighty Morphing, which we have seen quite a few times. So saying it like, oh, I am I am the nephew, I am this. I generally really wanted to know more, and I really did love his design. It looked quite menacing. But I think the one thing I didn't kind of like is them giving him like this kind of like stupidity to some degree, where he's just like, oh no, like rah 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 type thing. I would like him to be like more of a general, more of a person like is a big bad for like much later on, and I can kind of see it happening. Like if it was in the 30th, it was in the 31st, whatever version of Power Rangers in the future, he's more like, no, I'm the bad guy. You know, I took all the information from my uncle, and I want to make sure that I destroy the Power Rangers. Because even though he one-shots all the Dino Fury Rangers, pretty much even if they use any attack for like fire or electricity, what mainly happens is he deflects it. He's able to go, no, no, no. And what I kind of find from that is a monster of the day isn't the best thing for that. I feel like that needs to be like high level energy for a general or something like that. So to me, I kind of want to see him come back a little bit more, or at least get reanimated and take away that kind of silly side. But he completely and utterly annihilates the Dino Fury Rangers, which to me I think is kind of nice. And even with the Dino Knight Fury Key to have the armor, even when Zato goes against him, Lothorn just literally hits him away absolutely completely, which I feel is generally a really nice thing, and actually just trashes the Rangers straight away. I will say that the mix of Super Sentai footage was actually quite minimal, and you can kind of see it a little bit, but it's really nice that they've blended it together rather than just the generic, what do you mean? Like, why is this here? So it does blend in like perfectly well, which I generally do really like, and I'm seeing this a lot more, that they're not relying on Sentai footage as much, and I feel like that's because of a reason that we all know, but I won't mention in this video. We have Stan and Annie come in, and they're following Amelia's advice. They're going to Dino Henge, and like they're obviously trying to get information, but when Lothorn like comes back in, like he knows how to destroy the stone pillars, which then makes the Rangers lose their powers. Now this is a fantastic thing, because this never ever gets kind of brought back in, or like, once it's happened once, no one ever talks about it again. So them revisiting this much later, I find to be kind of refreshing, because when a bad guy goes like, oh, this is how you kill the Power Rangers, or this is how you get rid of the powers, and it's like, oh, never going to do that again. But seeing Lothorn actually attack and actually try to take down all the statues at once to kind of get rid of the powers is a stroke of genius. But if it was me, I would probably just destroy one or two straight away, because it feels like the energy beam that's going out to attack and destroy these stone statues was kind of weakened down. So when you're going for multiple ones all the time, it kind of lowers down the power. So you want to shoot, say, destroy one, or use your big mega beam, which we see he uses against the Rangers very shortly. And he's just like, boom. That's what you would want to do, is target one or try and hit one or two out, so you can actually get rid of one or two Rangers, because they just get weaker and weaker over time. But because of this, Stan and Annie are kind of like cowering, because obviously the attack's going on, and the Rangers do get them out. Pink teleports them to the city. But one thing I do like is that Zato actually uses the teleporter to actually teleport him and the other Rangers, as well as Lothorn, back into the city. Me personally, I would have gone for the forest or somewhere quite far away, because it's an interesting thing. You've just literally brought the fight back into the city, and you don't want to destroy the city at all. But I generally thought this was a very fantastic use of using the powers from like that aren't just like keys, weapons. You're using something that's in that you're using every day, which I find absolutely cool. It's a really nice touch and isn't used that much whatsoever. The main kind of end to all of this is the fact that Lothorn grows as a giant monster. He attacks the Rangers in their Zords and stuff. But when he gets launched into space, he says like, oh, I can see Angel grow from here, which I think was a really nice touch. I like these references throwing back, because seeing this in Power Rangers, it feels like, you know, Angel Grove hasn't been mentioned for a very long time. But once you leave a city, once you leave certain things, that's it. You never get to see all of this ever again. They never say anything, and I like that. That to me was a lot more interesting than most lines in this entire series. Now, coming to a close on this, seeing Jane and Pop Pop kind of like go on TV or kind of do a live stream where it's the radiation. He's gone on about radiation, that he doesn't like it, you know, etc. No one really likes radiation, but at the very beginning he's very kind of like, oh no, there's radiation everywhere. The one thing that kind of took me out of this episode is one of the shots at the end. They're doing a Buzz Blast bake-off. Again, everyone loves bake-off since the Great British Bake Off's done. But when Jane grabs the top of the smoothie maker or the blender, she's instantly gone, like they just digitally removed her. And when Pop Pop's in the middle, it just seems a bit weird. Obviously, he's got to get the blueberry on him. But I feel like when you take Jane away and not have her, like, see her actually completely step out, you just see literally her hand, and then it's like, oh, Pop Pop's in frame. I didn't like it, and it just made me think, did they not kind of have Jane do that? Did they want to cut it for time? It's just a little thing there that just kind of made me go, oh, okay, not a big fan. But apart from that, I think the episode's quite solid. It's nice that it's back. It's in English. It's going to be in the UK very soon, every single day. It's going to be released in Canada, so you'll probably get daily uploads from when we actually review this, etc., etc. So I'm much looking forward to seeing how this series plays out. But at that, I'm gonna, oh no, I forgot. There is a part where we see about Amelia's parents, where we find out Amelia has turned around and said like, yeah, I want to know what's going on. You know, this the reason why I took on looking into paranormal stuff is the fact that I can find a link to my parents. You find out that according to Pop Pop, her parents died in a fire in the house. So you kind of think, oh, has Pop Pop told like Amelia, or is he lying because he doesn't want to hurt her? Because every single time that they ask about it, it's like, oh, Pop Pop doesn't want to talk about it because it really hurts. And I feel like that again is due to that machine that they had to replace memories. Or Pop Pop is lying and he's like, no, I'm not going to tell her. But I kind of like this. This to me was quite a nice little thing that they've done. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's going to play out over the next week or couple of, at least 10 days or something like that, 12 days. So yeah, I'm going to be doing daily uploads of this. I'll be reviewing it and giving my kind of thoughts. So if you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment on your favorite part of this. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, comment in the comments. And with that, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. See ya.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。